Martin. This morning, I'm so happy and excited to share with you uh, from this very important series of 6-week course concerning co-parenting for fathers. And so this morning, I want to welcome everyone. Your host is Pat Roy Reeves. I'm the Men Support uh, Service Program Manager for I See My Baby. And so today, we are excited to share this very important series, which will help our fathers because today we have a lot of our men struggling in our society in terms of raising their children. So, our topic today is creating a co parenting plan, right? It is important if you're going to be successful at co parenting that you have a plan. Now, we don't just raise children, we raise the next generation of emotional, healthy, and responsible and stable children. And so if we're going to raise children in a way that gives them the opportunity to excel and grow, it means that we're going to have to understand our role as we get on that path of co-parenting. And so this morning I'm excited to be here to share with you this very, very important topic because co-parenting helps not just the father, but it helps the mother also to understand your responsibility in terms of raising a healthy child. And so today I am so thankful that you take the time to join us on this exciting topic. And so let's look at our lesson objective for today, right? I want us to understand that by the end of this session, father and co-parent will be able to identify, right, and include key elements of an effective co-parenting plan. Because where there is no plan, then you are likely are going to fail if you don't have a plan in your co-parenting strategy, right? So now identify and include key elements of an effective co-parenting plan. That is what we want to focus on this morning. Understanding how to stay flexible as life, work, and your children changes. That is important as a co-parent. Keep your child at the center, values at the heart of all decision that is made, right? Begin to draft or revise a personal co-parenting plan will with tools that build trust and consistency. And so this morning I want us to understand that we can do it. We can do that which is of power importance, right? So let's look at some of the things that is necessary to have a healthy co-parenting plan. And so let's start with this first important thing. What is a co-parenting plan, right? A co-parenting plan is a written, neutral agreement upon, matter of fact, a roadmap that details how separated or divorced parents will raise their child or children in an effective way that the child's well-being, child's health, the child's future is not impacted in any way, right? So what are some of these things that we must have in a plan? Detailed logistic picked up, drop off holidays, how decisions will be made jointly. That is important. And these are things that cause conflict if they are not properly explained in your co-parenting plan. Financial responsibility, who pays what and how, right? These are important aspects of your plan. If it's going to be successful, that must be entailed there, right? Communication standards, how, when, and about what do you communicate when it comes on to having a good co-parenting plan, right? Think of it as a parent GPS. It keeps you on course even when emotions run high. And emotions will run high as you co-parent. You're going to have a time or situations where things are not going to work or go in the way that you desire. That is why we are encouraging and are encouraging our parents to have a co-parenting plan, right? And so, why you need one? So let's discuss, why do you need a co-parenting plan? A solid co-parenting plan does three major things, right? What three things does it does? It reduces confusion. Everyone knows what is expected, and the child knows what is expected. So the child is also protected in this way, and there's no drama, there's no problem to create issues for the child's mental and emotional well-being, right? That's the first thing. The second thing, it prevents drama, which I mentioned. If issues arise, you go to the plan first before resort to an argument or to go back to the court for settlements. So these three important things why you need a co-parent plan, right? The third is protect your child. Your child isn't caught up in the middle. They feel safe, loved, and stable. That is why we encourage and are continuously encourage you to have a good co-parenting plan. For men, you have to reflect on a time when confusion between co-parenting caused stress for the child, and what could you do to help in this regard. And so we're talking about this morning having a healthy and good co-parenting plan, that you will not have the issues that many parents right now are encountering and are going through. We want to give you an opportunity to raise your children in the best way and for them to be successful as well as you as a parent. Now, key elements of a strong co-parenting plan. What are these three elements that all fathers need to know if you're going to co-parent with your other co-parent effectively, right? Physical custody schedule, right? Where the child lives, on which days, and how transition are handled, including holidays, schools, breaks, and birthdays. All of these are factors that must be clearly stated in a co-parenting plan, right? Now, legal custody and decision making, how major decisions, education, medical, religious decisions are made together or by one parent. It is important that these elements of a strong co-parenting plan be established to avoid conflict, to avoid mistrust, to avoid not able to work together in a cohesive and proper manner. And so my encouragement to you today is that if you have not had a plan for co-parenting, you're going to have trouble and challenges doing so. And so we're here to help you. We're here to support you, give you this tool that can help you to have a successful co-parenting plan. All right. The third and important aspect of co-parenting is financial detail, right? So who pays for what, right? And how is the child supported and managed? What's the plan for extra expense like school trips or other miscellaneous things that will do appear while you co-parent? You have to understand that these things do occur while you are planning and trying to do your best as a parent, right? Key elements of a strong co-parenting plan. So there are two very key elements of this co-parenting plan that I want for you this morning as a father, right? If you're a new father co-parenting, you need to know this. If you're even a senior co-parenting father, you need to know this. Communication guidelines, right? Communication guidelines is essential, right? Text, email, co-parenting app. How often do you update each other about the child, right? How are your emergency handled? All of these are critical to successful co-parenting, right? The next important aspect is conflict resolution strategies. If there's a disagreement, how will it be resolved? Mediation, counseling? Do you agree to a 24-hour cool-off period? So because you're going to have differences, because you are now separated, you're now living in two separate homes. You're dealing with two separate homes when it comes on to co-parenting. And so some of these things likely will occur. but how can you mitigate? How can you prevent them? So flexibility is essential, right? Flexibility. If you don't exercise a level of flexibility as co-parenting, particular fathers, you're going to have challenge. You're going to find that it is going to be very overwhelming for you, right? So life is unpredictable. That's for sure, right? That's why every strong plan has room for change, right? Example will when find flexible is needed, when flexibility is needed. Example when flexibility is needed. Parents work shift changes, and that is inevitable. Sometimes it do happen while you're working. The child join a sport or club, that will happen because as their child grow, the child is going to involve in other extracurricular activities at school, right? Which is important. And so you're going to have these flexibility in your plan, right? Essential that you have them in your plan, right? A new partner or sibling enter the picture. And these are possibility because you are now separated and you're now building new families for yourself. And this is something you have to plan for. How do you deal with a new partner or sibling enter in the picture, right? Your plan must have some level of flexibility to include and to make sure that these things are there, right? A move or a school transfer, that's a possibility also. Build adaptability in your plan, right? Include a 6 months review clause, adding a make up time agreement if a parent misses time, keeping communication lines open and respectful, right? You don't have an healthy co-parenting life without being respectful to each other, right? Don't be rigid with your plan, right? It will fall apart. A flexible one grows with your child. A flexible plan grows with your child. So let's delve a little deeper now. Creating the child, centering the child in the plan is important, right? It's not about you as parents, right? We got to sometimes put aside our emotional feelings. We got to understand that it's not about us, it's about the child's well being, right? How do I make the child well being the most essential and important thing as we strive, right? So ask these three these questions we often have to ask ourselves. Is this decision about the child's best interest or mine? So, Father, is the child's best interest what we're here and when we come on to co-parenting, right? Will this make my child feel more secure or more torn, right? These are questions that because we're going to make the child the center of our co-parenting plan. These are questions that you need to ask yourself as a father, even a mother. Also, I am, I am reacting out of past hurt or responding as a parent. So, should you react or respond to your unresolved problems? No, you must respond not out of hurt, right, or past situation, but as a parent, caring, understanding that you want to make your child feel loved, feel cared for, right? Child-centered co-parenting needs, right? Right. What is that? Avoid score keeping, right? Don't get back at each other for situation that that it wasn't the child's fault, right? You had them more or less. You have to understand more or less that these things will happen, but how you handle the matter, how you deal with it, will determine how effective you be as a father in co-parenting. Not involving children in adult disagreement. Keep your children out of your conflict and your past situations that has caused you to be broken up or separated, right? Consider how changes impact the child's emotional and social and mental well-being, right? We parent, we parent for the child's heart, not our pride. So you got to parent not for what you require as a parent. You have to understand that the child is the most important aspect in what we're doing. And so I'm encouraging you today, parents, father in particular, if you're paying attention to this a very important topic that we're talking about, having a co-parenting plan is so important for us to be successful. You got to have a co-parenting plan. If you don't have a co-parenting plan, you're going to you're going to you're going to have challenges. You're going to have challenges, and so I don't want for you to have any challenges that impact you as a parent. And so today, I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to share with you. Sorry, I have a mishap on my slide, but I will get back to my co-parenting slide. Sorry about that. Just a mishap. Okay, so let's continue on this. So workshop time. So it's time for us to plan how to set up an effective co-parenting plan, right? Now, let's begin a workshop on your own co-parenting plan, step-by-step guidelines, right? You define your child's weekly and monthly schedule, write out how, right? Decisions will be shared, establish communication, right? Methods and expectation, right? Note how financial responsibility are handled, right? Agree on a conflict resolution process. All of these are necessary for your co-parenting plan, right? Tips: even if your co-parenting plan isn't present, you can create a first draft, and that reflects your willingness to cooperate and to create together something that will be lasting and beneficial for your child, right? So common pitfalls to avoid when you make a co-parenting plan, right? Vagueness, right? We'll just figure it out as we go. No, that's confusion. That is going to impact immensely on how you co-parent, and it is going to break down in a short time if you do that way. You'll find yourself having a lot of pain, headache, stress, discomfort, right? Misery. And so you gotta have to avoid these things. Using the child as a go-between is never a good option, fathers, right? Or mother, if you are finding yourself doing that, right? Writing the plan only for your benefit, that's selfishness. We gotta consider each other. It's two home, and we gotta understand that we have to be take in consideration that your co-parent has their own life, their own home to deal with, right? Failing to update the plan as life changes is another important aspect that we have to bear in mind as we consider co-parenting, right? Your plan should grow as your child grow, right? Your plan should grow as your child grow. Your child will not remain 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. The child is going to grow, right? Real world examples, right? Case study. Marcus and Tina co-parent a 10-year-old. Their plan worked well when he was in elementary school, but now he's involved in after school sports. Marcus' job also move him to a 4-day work week with longer hours. When you have an effective co-parenting plan and strategy, this will not impact and impede you both as parents, right? When you have a plan, what needs to change in their plan? How could they use flexibility without causing conflict, right? What should a child, why would, what would a child-centered update look like? Because as we said, it can't be your what you want. It is about the child. It's not about what both parents need for themselves, but it's about the child. Here we're talking about having an effective co-parenting plan, right? Final touches in terms of your resources, right? As you finalize your plan, consider scheduling a mediation session with a neutral party. So always have somebody vet what you're planning, right? When you have someone vetted, can be a mediator, right? Instead of going into the courts, which sometimes can be very expensive and very discomforting. have some mutual persons. You respect your pastor, you know, a leader within your community. Using a co-parenting app for shared calendars and expense review together, right? At least twice per year. Review your plan. Sharing updates with teachers and our counselors if needed. It is important that these things are done. Additional resources, you local mediators, as I said, are parent coaching, online communities for single fathers and co-parent is also very important. You can also find very important books to help you. There are a number of co-parenting books out there. And so today, as I conclude on reflection, what are some of the important things that as father, if you're going to co-parent successful, that you have to have in place? A plan is not controlled. It is care made visible. So a plan should not be controlled by a father or mother when it comes on to co-parenting. It is a plan that is not controlled. It is care made visible, right? So it's visible to both parents as well as the child, right? Your plan is your commitment to your child's peace, growth, and security, right? So if you want for your child to have peace, right, and security and growth, you're going to have to stick to your plan. It helps you navigate the hard days and celebrate the good ones. So you're going to have good days when you co-parent. I am sure. For those who I've spoken to, I've spoken to many parents, particular fathers who have co-parent for 10 years or more, and some less. And there are good days and there are bad days. But celebrate your good ones, right? You'll get beyond the bad ones, right? It's also a sign of maturity. You are parenting beyond pride, past pain, and power struggle. Wow, isn't that awesome when you have a co-parenting plan? And so this morning, was indeed a great privilege of mine to have you joining on this very important topic, a co-parenting plan. I am hoping that you have derived or learned something that can help you as a father, or if you're a mother watching this morning, that something. And so I want to encourage you this morning to, this channel is about empowering men and giving voice to a lot of our men who are voiceless. And so I want for you, as we try to engage, I want for you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We want to present materials that are educational, that are uplifting, that will help you to grow and to have better homes, better families, right? It is our intention that, you know, as we grow as a people, that our children, we have more, we are finding that within our society today, many of our boys are falling back because there is not proper mentorship and growth and development. And so today I just encourage you to go back to this very important video, watch again. You might not catch everything